Power in a factory, power in the land, power in the hand of the workers. But it all amounts to nothing if together we don't stand. There is power in a union. Now the lessons of the past are all learned with workers' blood. The mistakes of the bosses we must pay for. From the cities and the farmlands to trenches full of mud. The war's always been the boss's way, sir. The union forever defending our rights. Down with the black leg workers unite. With our brothers and our sisters, together we will stand. There is power in a union, yeah! I long for the morning that they realise brutality, unjust laws cannot defeat us. Who'll defend the workers who cannot organise when the bosses send their lackeys out to cheat us? Money speaks for money, the devil for his own. Who comes to speak for the skin and the bone? What a comfort to the widow, a light to the child. There is power in a union, yeah! Forever defending our rights. Down with the black leg workers unite. With our brothers and our sisters, together we will stand. There is power in a union. The union forever! The union forever defending our rights. Down with the black leg workers unite. With our brothers and our sisters, together we will stand. There is power in a union. There is power in a union. Thank you very much. What a lovely day for a demo. Beautiful. And thank you for coming out to defend our NHS, our inheritance. And I heard just a moment ago one of the speakers mention the Battle of Arnhem, the Second World War. It was in the midst of all that talk about the First World War anniversaries. It was on the 3rd of September this week. It was the 75th anniversary of the beginning of the Second World War. And although we do have a great deal of respect for those who fought in the First World War, they are gone now. But those people who fought in the Second World War, many of them are still with us. They have a double reason for us to respect them. Not only that they stood up against fascism in the 1940s, but they were the people who voted in the National Health Service. They are the greatest generation. My mum among them. Many of them in that election in 1930. The election in 1945 was the first election for 10 years. There hadn't been an election since 35, and that had been pretty ambiguous, that election. And women under the age of 30 only got the vote in 1928. So 1945 was really the first election when women really got the opportunity to make a mark. Women like my mum. And they went into the ballot box and they voted for the future. They voted for their children. They voted for their grandchildren. They voted even for their great-grandchildren. Those of us, someone else earlier mentioned about the National Health Service being what we have now in this country as a religion. And it's true. It's like religion used to be. We're born in it, and ultimately we die in it as well. It is exactly what a medieval religion did for the people of England. The National Health Service now holds our hands in those hardest of times. And those people who care for us, those people who it's their job to look after us, they're the people who deserve our greatest thanks in our times of greatest need. Yeah. They're the people that we turn to, the people who work in the NHS. We've seen so many of them speak. So many of them speak today. So let's not lose that inheritance that our parents and our grandparents struggled so hard, went through some terrible, terrible things in the 20s and the 30s, saw real abject poverty. And they stepped up in 1945 to make sure that they would never have to go through that sort of thing again. That is our inheritance. And we owe it to them now that they need it. Now they need that care. Now they need that help. We owe it to them to get this National Health Service back where it should be. Free whenever people need it, wherever people need it, without privatisation, and there for our children, for our grandchildren, and for our great-grandchildren too. I was a miner, I was a docker, I was a railwayman between the wars. I raised a family in time of austerity with sweat at the factory between the wars. I paid the union, and as times got harder, I looked to the government to help the working man, but they brought prosperity down at the armory. We're arming for peace, me boys, between the wars. I kept the faith, and I kept voting not for the iron fist, but for the helping hand. For theirs is a land with a wall around it, and mine is a faith in my fellow man. Theirs is a land of hope and glory. Mine is the green field and the factory floor. Theirs are the skies all dark with bombers, and mine is the peace we knew between the wars. Call up the craftsmen, bring me the draftsman, build me a path from cradle to grave, and I'll give my consent to any government that does not deny a man a living wage. A living wage! Go find a young man, never to fight again. Bring up the banners from the days gone by. Sweet moderation, heart of this nation, desert us not, we are between the wars.